What's up, affordable Armory folks? How y'all doing? Today we're going to be comparing the Springfield Hellcat to the Sig Sauer P365XL. I am super excited about this. I have been carrying the Sig Sauer P365XL quite a bit, and now I've got my hands on a Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro. I used to own the regular Hellcat. I did get rid of it because I just like the Sig better. But now, doing a new head-to-head comparison between these two guns. Let's find out which one I like better. Please stay tuned all the way to the end because you might be surprised by the results. If this is your first time here, click the subscribe button down below so you'll find out when future videos come out. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Before we get too far into the video, I want to thank my sponsor for today's video, Vetter Holsters. I happen to love Vetter Holsters, so I'm super excited that they've come along as a channel sponsor. This is my Sig Sauer P365XL in a Vetter holster. Love it. You can see I've got the neon green there. They've got all sorts of color options. This is their light tuck holster with the claw. That's my favorite carry setup. I've got a couple of these holsters. They make the same holster for the Hellcat Pro, which we're comparing this gun to in this video, and they are well made. They've also got gun belts. They've got spare mag carriers. They've got outside the waistband holsters. They've got hybrid holsters, all sorts of options. If you've got a new pistol and you're looking for a holster, check out Vetter Holsters. I'll put a link in the description down below so you can find out more about what they have to offer. Okay, so here we have the Sig Sauer P365XL and the new Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro. We're going to do a complete rundown of both of these guns side by side. Here we go. Price and affordability. So I have looked up the prices on these. They are roughly the same. All right, you're going to find them in the mid 500s to the low 600s. Roughly about the same. I've seen multiple offerings for both guns right about $599. Sometimes you'll find them lower, sometimes you find them slightly higher, but both of these guns come in right around the same price point, so it's kind of a tie. Now I will say Sig Sauer does have several options for the XL. They have a version that comes with a Romeo Zero mounted to the optic. That version is a little bit more expensive, and I would imagine that Springfield will be coming out with a Hellcat Pro with their optic on it. I forget what it's called right now. It's the Mosquito or the Firefly or something like that. But either way, that would add another $200 to each gun. So that doesn't really change the fact that they're about the same price. So price and affordability, it's a tie. Let's move on to capacity. I don't have the mags with me for the 365XL because this is my current carry gun, and so they are in a safe location. I wanted to work with clear and free guns. So as you can see, no ammunition in either one of the guns. As far as capacity, you've got 12 round standard magazines for the 365XL, 15 round standard magazines for the Springfield Hellcat Pro. Now, I know some of you are going to point out that they make 15 round magazines for the Sig, and they're not aftermarket, they're actually made by Sig. However, that's going to take your grip length way down here. They are extended mags, and so yes, you can get 15 round mags, but it comes standard with the 12s, whereas the Hellcat Pro comes standard with 15s, and they don't have to extend the grip at all in order to do that. So capacity, slight edge goes to Springfield Armory. Reliability, well, that's kind of a toss-up. I haven't experienced any malfunctions with either of these guns. They both shoot great. I have obviously had the Sig a lot longer because this is my current carry gun. Had it for over a year. This one is not my gun. I'm borrowing it, and I've put about 100 rounds through it. Didn't experience a single failure. So reliability is not really a concern as far as these two guns go. I haven't seen an issue with either one, so it's a tie. Now we get to the fun stuff. Ergonomics and feel. How do these guns feel in your hand? So I absolutely love the way the Sig feels in my hand. The grip texturing is really nice. All right, it's not super aggressive, it's just aggressive enough, and I like that it's smooth right here. Some people might want that texturing all the way up there. I am okay with it being smooth there. I do like the triangular shape of the mag release. I think that's kind of cool, and it is elevated just enough off the frame that it's very easy to actuate. The slide stop is very easy to reach with my thumb. The slide serrations are very much usable, both front and rear. And I am a fan of these sights. I have this style of sight on pretty much all of my SIGs. You got the green front sight and then the blacked out but also night sights in the rear. Very cool. The one downside is, yes, it's optics ready, but you do lose that rear sight if you mount an optic, which is why I don't run an optic on this gun. And then also you have the proprietary rail here. That kind of sucks, but is what it is. And then the trigger, we'll talk about that here in a little bit, but I do like the flat face trigger on there. So overall, I really, really enjoy the way this feels in my hand. You can see that I can very easily get all my fingers on there, even though this is technically less capacity than the Springfield. Speaking of the Springfield, here we go. So you have a little bit more aggressive texturing on this grip, as well as, it's kind of hard to see, but there are some slight finger grooves here. And you know, I normally don't like that, but in this case they're kind of subtle, so I'm okay with it. It's not my favorite thing, but I'm okay with it. And then the texturing is the same all the way around. And then you do have the texturing again up here. And like I mentioned on the SIG, they don't have that, but I'm okay with that. Now, one thing about the Hellcat, I mentioned the mag release on this SIG. Notice how the mag release on this frame is flush. And I don't like that because you might tend to roll right past it. So if you're moving your thumb down to it, because it's flush, you might just roll your thumb all the way over it and then have to come back up and push the mag release. So I'm not a fan of that. I would like it to be sticking out just a little bit. The other thing, this is not a flat trigger. It's a flat-ish trigger, and it does have the trigger safety in there. So it's closer to a Glock style trigger, and yeah, I mean, it's okay. I don't have too many complaints about it. I've shot plenty of pistols with this style of trigger, but I definitely like the flat face trigger of the Sig Sauer. The slide serrations, they're okay, but they're not great. They're a little too wide and not as deep as I would want them to be. Now here, this one is optics ready, and as you can see, if you remove the plate, you get to keep your rear sight. I do like that. And then I do like these sights as well. So you got a yellowish front sight there that is a night sight, and then in the rear, it's not a night sight. You have a little U notch. It's a cool shape. I wish that was blacked out, or that white line was tritium instead of white paint, but that's just me. And then you have two Picatinny rail slots on the frame of this gun, which is kind of nice, versus the proprietary rail on the SIG. And then you have some forward dimples here for your trigger finger and your support hand thumb. So there you go. There's the ergonomics of the Springfield Hellcat Pro, but I got to give the slight edge to the Sig Sauer P365XL. Just my personal preference. Now, trigger press and feel. So let me rack the slide here so we can do this. Again, flat trigger. I love the flat trigger. There's your take up, and then you press, and you see not a whole lot of movement, and it breaks. Okay, let's reset it, and then click. There's your reset, and then press it again, and then there's your reset. So yes, there's a lot of take up right there, but once you get there, it's really not that bad. I am a fan of just how this feels on my finger, so that's why I like this one better. Whereas this one, all right, again, clear, send the slide forward. All right, place my finger on there, and then see, the take up is really about the same. You still have all of that play in the trigger, and then you press, and it's a little bit heavier trigger than on the Sig. I will say it's a more positive click, but there's your reset. All right, press it again, let it out. But you have pretty much the same amount of take up, at least by feel. Maybe someone else will do a video and they'll actually measure the distance, but for me, the feel of that take up is about the same, and it feels like a heavier press through the wall. That combined with the fact that it is a bladed trigger gives the edge to the Sig Sauer P365XL. All right, we've got the Springfield Hellcat Pro and the Sig Sauer P365XL. Really like both of these guns. We're gonna shoot them and compare them, see which one is more accurate. We're gonna start with the Hellcat Pro. Got it right here. I only loaded 12 rounds into the magazine because the Sig Sauer only holds 12 rounds. So just to make it fair, I'm doing 12 rounds at a time through each gun. I'm going to do 2 mags each, so a total of 24 rounds for each gun. And then we'll look at the target and see which one is better. Here we go. First mag through the Sig Sauer P365XL. Here we go. All right, back to the Springfield. Back to the Sig Sauer. All right, no giveaways here. So, starting on the left here, this was the first 12 rounds with the Springfield Hellcat Pro. All right, and looking at that, that's a pretty sparse grouping there. All right, sparse grouping. We did have a couple in the X, but not bad. I did throw one way low. Again, that's me, not the gun. But 12 rounds. All right, and then you come over here. This was the first 12 rounds through the Sig Sauer P365XL. Pretty nice grouping. You got 4 rounds touching there. You got 3 more in the X, and then you got some spread out around it. So that one wins round 1. However, this is where it gets tricky. Round 2, come back down here to the Springfield. Look at that grouping. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 low. So that's 5 rounds, which means that is a 7-shot grouping in the X. Oh my goodness. I will take that all day long. Then you come back over here to the Sig Sauer P365XL. Yes, that's an acceptable grouping. You've got a couple touching there. You got a nice, fairly decent grouping there. 1 flyer up high, but only 1 in the X. I gotta say, that wins it for me right there. That wins it. As good as this first grouping was, you know, 4 just outside, pretty much touching, with 3 in the X. All right. That 7-round group is absolutely beautiful. I gotta give the edge in accuracy to the Hellcat Pro. Now, purpose. All right, both of these are designed to be concealed carry pistols, so there's your purpose. They could be range guns, they could be just for fun. I do enjoy shooting both of these guns, but really their purpose is clearly concealed carry, and they both fit that bill very well. While we got them side by side, let's look at the size here. So I'll set the 365XL on top of the Springfield. All right, and we'll put them kind of beaver tail to beaver tail there. You can look right there, okay, if they're nose to nose, looks like the Springfield is a little bit longer, just by a hair, but not really. I mean, that's basically the same length. If you put them chamber to chamber, looking at the slides there, all right, it looks like it's longer because of the sights, they're smaller, so whereas you got this big old wide sight on the Sig, pretty much same slide length. And then if I set them upright like this, all right, it looks like the Springfield is longer again, just by a hair. So I mean, it's what, like 1/10 of an inch longer, maybe, not that much longer at all. And now the height of them, if you look, with no magazine in either gun, looks like they're about the same height. I mean, that's pretty close. Now, coming from the back here, all right, if you go from that angle, clearly the Springfield has a longer grip, right? But if you look at it from the front angle, the Sig angles down, and so you have the same amount of grip on the front. Now, why is that important? Because you want to be able to get your pinky on the grip. So if the Sig was straight across, then you wouldn't be able to get that pinky on there. So yes, it's 12 rounds and not 15, but they're still able to get a full grip on there, whereas Springfield elongated the whole grip in order to make that happen. So there's your rundown comparison of the Hellcat Pro to the Sig Sauer P365XL. Now let's go back up top and I'll tell you which one is the winner. So there you go. I hate to say it, but man, I think I'm gonna have to get a Hellcat Pro. They cost about the same price. They're both optics ready. The Hellcat wins on capacity. The Hellcat wins again on accuracy. Reliability, I've had this one longer, so I've shot it more, but I didn't really have any failures with this gun. I don't expect that I would. I will give Sig the edge on ergonomics and feel, as well as trigger press. Both make a great concealed carry pistol, but overall, based on how the Springfield shot when I did the head-to-head, I gotta give the slight edge to the Springfield. As always, head over to affordable-armory.com. That's where the blog lives. That's where our social media links are. That's where our affiliate links are, so you can save yourself some money on something you were going to buy anyway. And we've got merch like hats, t-shirts, and mugs. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.